Hey everyone, it's 10 Types and Space-Time Smackdown, the new and first ever new Pokemon TCG Pocket like regular set slash mini expansion is here. It has, I believe, 2 packs. I don't know what's in what pack though at the moment. I mean, the set's not actually out yet. Yeah, these like were posted. I don't actually know. Where these are from, but they are out, like revealed. And so today we're going to be taking a look at them. I'm looking here at Poke Beach, and so the set looks really cool. I've taken a quick glance, though I haven't looked at them super in depth, and haven't thought too much about like synergies with other cards. But the set looks really cool so far for what I've seen. So let's hop right in. This Blossom doesn't look too cool. I'm going to skip over the ones that I think are pretty boring. This Blossom line looks kind of whatever. This Time Growth line looks kind of whatever. Then we have Yon Mega EX. It's one of the EXs. I think there are. I thought there was 10. I actually haven't counted. I'm going to quickly count and see how many there are. Um, I think there's, as I said, I think there's 10. Yeah, something like that. Supposedly there's a Lucario EX. There's not. Like, Pokebeach said there was. I didn't know where they're getting that from. And it looks like there isn't, but there are, I think, 10. So Young Mega EX is the first one. This one's really interesting. EXs are generally good. This one doesn't stand out in terms of damage. 120 for 3 on a stage 1 EX isn't anything insane. It's like it's pretty good. I'm trying to think of other stage one EXs. This is actually pretty solid. You discard energy from this Pokemon or random energy, so it's kind of like Gyarados EX. It does less HP and does less damage, but you can kind of look at it and compare it to that, or like it's kind of in between Starmie EX and Gyarados EX. But it's also all colorless, which is kind of insane, and the basics also colorless, though it, it's not very good. But it's also weak to lightning, so that's not ideal. But still, this is really solid. As one entry cost is supposed to free, where Yanming is often have free, but whatever, that's fine. Also, sorry if my voice is bad. I am like, sick again still, whatever. So this card though, 120 is like solid, and I like this card. I think it's pretty good. Um, for being like a different type in different decks. It's not an attacker that's like absolutely insane, but it's pretty good. It kind of reminds me of like Tauros. I think it does the same amount of damage there, except Tauros is a single prizer, so it has less HP, and we also don't have the previous evolution. Like you only have one attack, right? Yanmega, you have the Yanmega EX, you have the Yanma to attack with. I don't think this card's amazing. I think it's okay. Um, if a weakness hitting becomes a really big deal, it could be quite nice. I'm not super familiar with like all the top decks. I mean, I generally know them, and I can't think of any that are weak to grass. So, um, yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess some of the fighting stuff is weak to grass. What like Aerodactyl EX must be weak to grass. Oh wait, that's weak to lightning. Okay, so that's not weak to grass then. Um, so yeah, this weakness, which is actually really meaningful with a card that's like a tech attacker. Oh, apparently it's on a limit list too. Maybe I should have just looked there. Anyways, in terms of cards that are weak to grass, it's just not a great weakness to be hitting. Um, there are some new cards. There's the Golem. There's a Marowak EX. I guess it's meaningful from Marowak EX, but that's not like that good. Um, and okay, there's the new Darkrai EX. I think the new Darkrai EX is actually a really cool card, which we'll get to. But it doesn't look super meaningful here, unfortunately, for hitting the weakness. So I think I don't think it's in quite the right numbers, but it is a card to keep an eye on. That does look pretty cool. Rosemary doesn't look particularly impressive. I mean, like, it looks okay. Torterra here doesn't look particularly great either. I mean, I don't think it looks very good. It's a 150 for 3, or for 4 in stage 2, and can't attack next turn. Has 160 HP. Like, its stat-wise numbers are good. Damage and health are good, but you can't attack back-to-back turns. You're going to be stuck in the active probably, and so you like actually won't be able to attack back-to-back turns. And then on top of that, you also don't one-shot everything. I mean, you one-shot most things. It's pretty good, but then on top of that, you also like you need to get powered up, which is really hard to do. It's the same attack cost as Venusaur EX, except you're not the same level of tank as that. Um, and it's the same damage output as Mewtwo EX, except Mewtwo EX is a basic, which is really different. Um, and so you could use Superior, but Superior is another stage 2, and there is some extra like Pokemon Search support. There's a one card in the set I believe that helps with that, which is like it's a good card, but it's not gonna fix all these issues here. Even if this was Psychic, we got Mythical Slab, it would not be good enough. Cricket here does do 50 in Confusion. I think this is decent compared to like say Roserade 50 in Poison. Confusion can be pretty disruptive for like just Pokemon. It can be difficult to deal with. You might have to retreat or you might end up losing coin flips. So I think this is okay. It's not amazing, but I think it's all right. As Link Confusion is just solid special condition in pocket. Um, Kobe can get a random basic. That's like cool, I guess. I don't think it's a card that you're really looking to play. It's okay, but you probably don't need a ton of basics for anything. I mean, there are some that we'll like talk about that like you do need some basics, but I don't think Kumbi's what you want. It doesn't have very much HP either. Then we have Leafeon, 90 for 2 in stage 1, can't attack next turn. I think this is decent. I talked about this a little before, though, so I'm not going to cover it much now. Some of these cards were revealed before, so yeah, I won't be really talking about those. Rotom here is 30, and on a coin flip, discard an energy. This card seems kind of interesting. The only issue to me is it's similar to Mawile. Mawile is a metal card. Metal's been quite bad. I haven't really seen anyone play this card, but I think Mawile's okay. I think it's noticeably better than Rotom. Also, I believe all the Rotoms are in the set, which is like cool, I guess. But yeah, Mawile's definitely a card that is better than Rotom. It does less damage, so you could argue that for Rotom, and with the superior, I guess it's just one, but still, this card doesn't seem very good. Shaman here says, once during your turn, you may heal 10 from each of your Pokemon. Also, Rotom, just like theoretically, you could play it. It's not an unplayable card if you wanted to. Has some value. But Shaman here, once you turn, you heal 10 from each of your Pokemon. This ability seems really good. There's the Butterfree, which is similar. It's heal 20 from each of your Pokemon, but it is a stage 2. You kind of get it set up using the Caterpie theoretically as well, and the Caterpie and Meteors are both colorless attackers. But regardless, Shaman here has pretty good healing. With 2, it's decent. It's like a potion every turn, which is good. Half a potion every turn with just 1. So Shaman seems like a pretty good card. Not amazing, but just good. I don't exactly know how much it fixes math, but I'm sure there are a lot of situations where it's good. Taking a look at the metagame, there are lots of decks that just do this like kind of chip damage, I guess, with like some of the pieces in Gyarados EX, though you're probably not, doing what you need to do in order to like stop yourself from getting knocked out, but maybe stop like a snipe or something, and that could be huge. Or Zebstrika or Zebstrika, Executor EX maybe. Like some of the just a little bit of wheezing damage, something like that. The wheezing damage probably won't save you, but there are times when this card can be really nice. This could be a one of in a lot of different decks. Don't know exactly what's most useful in. If you're playing a tanky healing deck, this is probably good. Though if you want to be super tanky, then you might just want to go for Butterfree, because Shaman, it'll be noticeably worse in the long run. In the short term, though, it's way easier to get set up. So, Shaman's definitely a really interesting card, and I think it's a really good one. Then we have Magmar, which can accelerate a fire energy from the energy zone to itself, which evolves into Magmortar. We have a few Magmars. There's a few evolution lines that are getting, I guess, like line toppers. So, because it was mostly Gen focused, then later they got Final Evolution. So we do see a bunch of those, which is really interesting. And so there are some decent Magmars, but anyway, Magmortar here for 4. You do 100 and burn, so it's like 120. That seems bad. I think there's a card that accelerates to it. The what's it? Um, where's this card? It's a supporter that I believe accelerates to it. It's maybe there's not. Maybe I'm just like imagining this card. It's not Mars. Okay, well you can use oh, it's Vulcan which accelerates to Electivire or Luxray. Which is not which is not Megwater. You can use Dawn to move energies around, so that does something. That's probably not what you need. This card, you do have a Moltres EX, but this card seems kind of bad, right? It's expensive. It's not super strong. I mean, it's like okay damage. My cargo again looks not super good. It seems kind of bad. And then Infernape EX. This one's really interesting. It does have free retreats, 170 HP, stage 2 EX, and it does 140 for 2 fire. You just got all fire from this Pokemon. Um, yeah, I think this card's good. It's kind of like it's almost like Starmie EX, where it's doing a really big attack turn 2, though you are losing the energies. And then also it has for your treat. You could also view it kind of like Charizard EX is like big one-shotty attacker on stage two, except it's cheaper. It's not one-shotting everything though, but it's doing a lot of damage. And so Infinite BX I think is a really solid card. Losing all the fire energy, it's certainly awkward, right? But I think it is something that you can be can be fine with, and you're applying this massive pressure early on. I think Infinity PX is pretty good. I mean, I'm saying early on, you need to get it into play. It's kind of awkward, but I think Infinite PX is pretty good. I don't think it's quite like amazing right now, but I think it's decent. And then we got Piloswine and Mamoswine, which say they take 20 less damage and 30 less damage respectively from attacks from fire or water Pokemon, which I guess are like good types. I mean, water is arguably the best type in the game, as it just has like a really deep card pool, or at least before the set. I think there actually there's some like new water stuff as well in the set, that is decent. And then fire is like fine. I mean, it's certainly a decent type. It's not the best type, but it's decent. But this is like pretty specific, and it's not a particularly good card outside of that, so it's kind of bad. Then we have Regice here. This one is a card that has a really interesting ability to me, which says prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. If you don't know, I think a bunch of people watching this do, but there are probably some who don't as well. And that's effects of attacks are not damage. It's not just invincible. That would be obviously super broken. It's all the other stuff. So if your opponent, they had got the Mag Cargo. They can't burn you. If you're already burned, it's not going to remove it. I don't know how that would actually work, but theoretically, if that happened, that wouldn't be the case. But it'll stop them from burning you in the first place, or like removing your energy with Morotom or something like that. It stops all the other stuff. Um, if their attack like does flip a coin for damage or they can't attack next turn, that'll still happen. But like effects on you will not happen, which I think is really interesting. There are some decks that rely on like confusion, paralysis, and stuff like that. Or wait, no, I don't even think paralysis. Oh, it is. I think I honestly don't remember exactly which special conditions are in the game because they're not that good. But there are some decks that rely on them. There's yeah, no, there is sleep. There's sleep. There's paralysis. I think there's all the special conditions at this point. But anyways, this will stop them, which is kind of interesting, kind of meaningful, I guess. I think this card is decent within water. I don't think it's amazing, but it's okay. And Polian, I just want to say this card's like not good. You do 80, 30 snipe, which is like kind of bad. It's not the worst I've ever seen or anything like that, but it's not particularly good. I was hoping for a bit more from Empoleon. I was kind of talking up. I was like, Empoleon gets cool cards. This one isn't that cool. Gastrodon, I think it's a little better, 60 and 20 snipe. It's less damage than Empoleon, less HP, but this is a card that is a stage one. So I think this card's like decent. I don't think it's amazing. Oh, actually, it's less snipe too, but it's okay, I guess. We got a Finneon, which is okay. I mean, you're immune on a coin flip, which is good, but not too much to say. I mean, there's a good Lumineon, or like an okay Lumineon. This one's also. Oh wait, this card's actually like okay, 50 for one. I'm not a big fan of the Primeape. I just don't think it's super strong. I played it some, and I honestly like didn't draw it very much, which is kind of weird. But I don't think Primeape's super good. Obviously, water is probably a better type than fighting, or was. Um, but like that's partially due to like energy acceleration and stuff like that, and that you're not getting. But there's another cool Luminion, so there's some stuff going on here that could be cool. This one does 40 to a fighting Pokemon for one water, which is like kind of crazy. I don't know if it's actually crazy. It's actually not that crazy because Farfetch'd also does 40 to a fighting Pokemon or any Pokemon, but that's like good, I guess, but like really niche, so it's bad, I guess is what I'm saying. But that's a card. And Abomasnow, certainly not good. But then you have Glaceon, which I guess I need to talk about. 2 water to 60 and paralysis on the coin flip. Not particularly good. I mean, it's okay. But yeah, we got Wash Rotom. Yeah, and we also got Frost Rotom. This one is actually an interesting card. 30 to the active, for 2 water and 10 to each your opponent's benched Pokemon. Palkia EX, if you don't know, does 20 to each of their bench Pokemon. This one 50 active and discards all the energy, and then Articuno EX to spread. So there's a bunch of water spread stuff. I think Frost Rotom is okay. I originally saw it and was like, oh, this card's really cool, but this card that's I think noticeably better than it later on in the set. But Frost Rotom is a cool card, I guess, but it's not amazing. Manaphy is actually I think this card's kind of insane. It says for one water, choose two of your benched Pokemon. Oh, and this can be any type of Pokemon too. So this Dialga EX can accelerate to anything, but Manphy apparently also can. And for each of those two bench Pokemon, you take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon. This still does need a water energy to actually work. So yeah, you do need to really be water focused. To be using this, but still, it's a good attack, can be useful on like Mew EX or something. So Manaphy is a really good card, I think. It's weak, it's squishy, but it is a card that's able to accelerate a lot of energy, which is like really good. So Manaphy, I think Manaphy is quite good, and was already good. Also, Palkia EX, I will say, I talked about it before some. I think this card's like not particularly good, and it's okay. It's a decent finisher. Can definitely be played in water decks, but it's not a card that's really defining your deck, though it is another threat option, and specifically like kind of good with Vaporeon. And Manphy also is, so you could be playing Vaporeon, like a 2/2 line of that, the one that moves energies. Then you could be playing probably two Articuno EXs. It's still a good card. There's Lapras EX, but I don't think there's really any reason to play that. And I wouldn't play Starmie EX because it's a stage one. And then you have obviously you have Misty, like trainers and stuff. And then I'd probably play two Manaphy's and also like your Palkia EX, and maybe I'd throw in a Lapras EX. I'm not exactly sure what I'd put in the deck, but I think like a water basic EX deck with Vaporeon could be really good. Then we have Magnezone. Keep in mind this is also Magneton, which can accelerate lightning energy to itself every turn. This does 110 for 3, and you just cut a lightning from this. This seems pretty solid. Not amazing, because 110 is like not that much. I mean, it's certainly okay, but it's not amazing. Um, but it's not hard to get powered up at all. It's pretty easy. So I think this card's decent. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's decent with the Magneton in mind. The Magneton, which is just like so good, getting multiple extra energies attached to the Pokemon, which is like super good. So Magnezone seems interesting, not amazing, but it seems decent. We got Voltorb, which can do 30 for one line. Yeah, I think that's kind of good. But, another Electrode, which is 50 for one. I'm not a big fan, as I said, of these 50 for one stage ones. I think they're kind of mediocre. But this is a card that if you want to play Lightning, you could play it. Electrode, the one that's in the game right now, is like super good. Because, oh, it's not super good, but it's pretty good in Pikachu EX because it has Free Retreat. This doesn't, so I probably would not play this one in that deck, but it is a card to consider. Um, and then we have Electivus to accelerate to itself. Again, we have a few of these. And then we got Electivire for 2 lightning. You do 40. If it has at least 2 extra lightning attached, just 80 more. And then this is the card that you can accelerate to. There are 2 of them. But yeah, it's with Volkner. Choose one of your Electivire or Luxray. Attach 2 lightning energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon. Okay, this is actually really interesting because it's from the discard pile. So if you don't know, Pocket actually has an energy zone disc or the energy like discard pile. Your discard pile has cards and also has energy, um, which is like it hasn't been used before, but now it's being used, which is really cool to see. So this will not be, you can't really accelerate early on, specifically to this Electivire. You're not going to be pulling off this turn to 120 attack. That's just like not possible. This seems decent. It doesn't seem amazing. It seems kind of cool. And then Luxray is the other one. And Shinx and Luxio, but nothing too crazy going on there. But we do have Luxray, which says for 3 lightning, you discard all lightning from this Pokemon. It does 120 snipe to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Also, it's for your tree. I think this Luxray is really cool. Really like I guess good for sniping stuff. Though it's not insane. Like it's not one-shotting Mewtwo EX on the bench, but it is one-shotting Pikachu EX on the bench. Um, but that's like it. It's not really one-shotting many other EXs. There's also the new Pachirisu EX, and there might be some other one. You're not hitting Zapdos EX or Weakness on the bench because you don't do that. But I think this is an interesting card and gets energy in the discard pile, which is kind of what you need. It can be discarded from just attacks that discard it, or I think there's another card that discards energy, and then also from your Pokemon getting knocked out with energy on. That's, I guess, the main way. We do have Pachirisu EX here, though, which is pretty interesting, which does for 2 lightning, 40 more if it has a tool. This is, like, really good. The tools are, like, pretty good, in my opinion. Um, and so the tools are actually kind of insane, I think. I'm not sure, but they seem. I was originally talking, I was like, I don't know what these values they can put on the tools are because trainers are much weaker in pocket than the regular TCG. and tools in the regular TCG aren't like super strong, so they need to make them weaker. And even if they make them like weaker, they'll still be like good. But anyways, I think it's like I think putting tools on it is good. And then you can do 40, you do doing 80. I don't remember what the tools are. I know there's one of them you get damaged, like there's Rocky Helmet. Oh, there's Lumberry. Yeah, that seems kind of bad. And Giant Cape. So probably Rocky Helmet or Giant Cape getting put on here. So Rocky Helmet could add extra damage, but not exactly. But anyways, you're doing 80 for 2 lightning on a basic. That's really good. I think this is a little easier to set up than Pikachu EX. Not like drastically easier. I think it's just a little bit, but I think Pachirisu EX is really good. I think this card is kind of insane within Pikachu EX. Yeah, I've talked about it some, but yeah, now that we have the tools, I can confidently say the tools seem pretty solid. Then we have Rotom, which does, if your opponent's active as a tool attached, it does 50 for one colorless on a basic, has 70 HP as well. Weak to fighting, not lightning, unlike Farfetch. So this card's like kind of interesting, just 20 base as well, and is lightning type, so it will hit weakness on certain Pokemon, like for example Farfetch'd. But I think Rotom's actually a really solid card. I don't think it's an amazing card, but it is a tech option in some decks. I don't know how often tools will be played. As I said, I think they're pretty good. Um, but I don't know if we'll be seeing them on like everyone's Pokemon. If we are though, Rotom is definitely a playable card. 50 is like for one is good on a basic, like really good on a basic. So this could be good, but there's a chance like no one's playing that many tools, and then it's pretty bad. We got a Togekiss line. I was like in the previous video, I was like Togekiss, it's gonna be a colorless attacker. I didn't even for some reason didn't think it could be because Togekiss can be a colorless Pokemon as well, which I wasn't even thinking about, but it can be. It's not obviously, but we've gotten a lot of recently actually a lot of colorless Togekiss attack costs that are psychic Pokemon. Um, but we have not gotten that many Togekiss. I thought we got more. Regardless, this is not a colorless attacker. Garchomp is also not a colorless attacker. So you can play this new Cynthia to do 50 more. It's like a supporter like Blaine. But you do 60 base for 2 psychic, and then next turn you do 120. This is not like keep ramping up. It'll go to 120 after you've done 60. This is pretty bad, I think. Like it's not that much damage. With Cynthia, it gets to decent numbers. I mean, I guess so 90 for 2 is like not. Oh wait, no, it's 110 for 2. That's all right. It's all right. It's pretty solid, I guess. And then it's 170 for 2 with the Cynthia the next turn. You need to be surviving, and I don't think you're consistently surviving that much, to be honest, with a stage 2. I don't know, maybe I'm just down on this card and maybe I'm underrating it, but I don't think it's very good. I think it's like it's just okay, but I think it's a little disappointing for this Cynthia's card. Then you have Mismagius EX. This one does 70 for 2 Psychic and Confusion. This is like decent. I don't think it's that good. Confusion is disruptive and kind of annoying. This is okay. I don't really know how you'd play this card. Psychic's really built around right now. Mewtwo EX, I think that's really the only Psychic deck that people are playing. Mew EX like is played in different things, but that's different. And so I can't really think of other Psychic Pokemon that people actually play. Um, yeah, I mean, there's Gengar, there's Alakazam as well. Gengar EX and Alakazam, and they're played some, but they're not that good. So, and you're not going to play them with Mismagius EX either. I think Mismagius EX is like just not, it doesn't really have a slot, or like a spot in the meta. Then we have a Dusknoir. This one says, as often as you like, or no, yeah, during your turn, you would choose one of your Pokemon that has damage on it and move all of its damage to this Pokemon. That's like really weird. Also, some of the like wordings, I feel like this is kind of clunky, and there's one that I think is really bad, but anyways, this is weird. Like, I don't really know why you'd want to be moving all your damage to Dusknoir. Like, it's like a healing thing, I guess. But you're probably moving a lot of damage to Dusknoir to the point where it's probably getting like knocked out at some point. The idea is you can kind of like, save your attacker and stuff like that. But Dusknoir is also a stage 2. This seems cool in concept, but really awkward to actually get good value out of, unfortunately. Like, I want this card to be good, but yeah, I don't think it's very good. There's a tool that gives you extra HP. It's like 20 extra, I think, but that's not really changing too much. Yeah, I think this card needs a little more HP to be quite good enough. Then we got Drift. Oh, that's not very good. We got Uxie, Mesprit, and Zelf. So Uxie can do 20 for 1 second, can accelerate an energy zone an energy from the energy zone to a Mesprit or a Zelf. Suppose it's to Mesprit, don't accelerate to the Zelf because it does 20 snipe for 1 psychic, which is okay. This is not like terrible, but it's not great either. And then we got Mesprit here for 3 psychic, it does 160. You can only use this if you have Uxie and Mesprit on your, or no, the other two, Uxie and Azelf on your bench. Then you discard all energy from this Pokemon. I feel like the downsides are just like too high, or too low. I don't know. Like they're too bad for this card to be good because it's a bunch of energy. The damage is good, right? The damage is good, but it'll take some time to set up, which you don't really have. Your Pokemon are not tanky. Any of them, I believe they're all 70. And then you just call the energy so you can't attack again next turn, and it's just like so much setup. I guess you play it with like Gardevoir, but that's so sketchy. Now you have Uxie, Zelf, Mesprit, and Gardevoir. You need all these 4 different Pokemon in play. It seems inconsistent. I'd love to say this card would be cool, but I guess it's cool, but it's not really going to be good enough, I can't imagine. Giratina with energy attached has no retreat, and it also does 70 for 3. This same card seems like okay, to be honest. Like, I kind of think this could be cool in Gardevoir. Um, I think a lot of people play like Mewtwo and Jinx, and I mean BBX is I think that one's good in Mewtwo EX as well. Baby Mewtwo, I think I might have said that, but anyways, I think I like this one. I don't love it. There's also a new Cresselia. This one I talked about some. That heals 20, 50 for 2, psychic, and it just has 110 HP. I like the Giratina more personally, for Mewtwo. EX, and you could play one of these if you wanted, though I don't think either one's particularly great. Um, Up here we got another 150 for 4 in stage 2. You do mill 3 from yourself into the discard. You're not going to lose if you discard the top 3 cards of your deck a bunch of times if you can't draw, but you will potentially lose if you lose resources that you need. Um, and ultimately, like this, just isn't that good. It's like, how are you getting the energies on? I don't think there's a way to do that unless I'm like forgetting something. Um, yeah, I don't see any. It seems kind of bad, like, to be honest. Like very bad. It seems quite bad. Then we have Gliscor. Oh yeah, that's pretty generic, and same with Hitmontop. Um, Regirock here takes 20 less and it's 120 base. This is actually like a really insane tank. Your attack's like kind of bad, so it's kind of like instead of Druddigon, which has decent HP and can do damage in return, this is another wall. I think it's actually a really good wall. I mean, it's just like super tanky as a basic. It's kind of like Snorlax, except if you get hit multiple times, it's essentially more HP than Snorlax. So that's good. You have lower retreat, lower than 4. It's 3. It's still high retreat, so that's a bit of an issue. But I think Regirock is okay, though a little bit sketchy. We got Rampardos here. This is a stage 2 fossil. Just 130 for 1 fighting, but if your opponent's knocked out, you do 50 to yourself. This downside does not seem that bad. The downside of being a fossil and being a stage 2 is like not great, but I think this card's pretty good. Um, yeah, I mean, if you're getting the knockout, you should be happy anyways. And it's only 1 energy. Admittedly, knocking yourself out is quite bad because you want to probably use Marshadow after this, but still, Rampardos, I think this card's pretty good within fighting. I mean, I don't think it's amazing, but I definitely think it's decent. Stage 2s, they need to be very good to see play. There's a lot of support stage 2s that see play. I guess Charizard's, attacking stage 2. Scolipede also. Scolipede like not that good. It's okay. Um, yeah, and then we got Wormadam. Oh, all these cards can be buffed by Lucario as well, which says here at fighting Pokemon do 20 more to your opponent's active Pokemon. Lucario is like a really strong, solid card. As an attacker, it's not particularly good because, yes, you do buff yourself, but it's not that much damage, right? But it's okay. Um, but obviously the main reason here is to buff your other Pokemon, which I mean it does a good job at. Though obviously you need a bunch of Pokemon in play. This is Nuka Lady X, which I guess I'll just talk about now, um, which is 170 for has 170 HP for 2 fighting. You do 70, 20 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active, and you could buff this with Lucario. But say you wanted to do this, that's a stage 2 and a stage 1, and it's not like absurd value there. I mean, it's good, but it's not like insane. So it is a lot of stuff to get your Lucario and your attacker going. It's definitely doable, but it's not the easiest. Galady X is a card that has pretty good damage output, I think. I definitely appreciate cheaper attackers. This is doing 90 to 110, maybe 130. Could be doing more, obviously, to like a Celebi EX or even like a what the Gyarados EX. There we go. And then That's like kind of nice. It's also from the same line as Gardevoir, but they're two completely different types, so I don't think you can really do anything here. Two combos to combo those together. I would have definitely liked to see this one being colorless, but still, Gallade EX definitely seems like an okay card. But Lucario is really good. I've talked about it before, but it's really good. Haunter we talked about before. 50 stay for two darkness is not bad though. Two anywhere as well. And then we have Weavile EX here, which says you oh, this is not the card I thought it was. I guess I must be thinking of Toxic Rook. Anyway, so this one for one darkness, 30. If your point's active has damage counters on it, it does 40 more. This is really interesting. It does 70 there for one, which is like really good. It's not I mean, it's very good, right? It's quite good. But you need damage counters on your opponent's active. How do you get them there? Not exactly sure. There's some ways to kind of get them, but there's stuff like Druddigon, Rocky Helmet, which is the same as Druddigon, and Wheezing, which kind of all do it later. So it's not really what you need. You do have like some attacks that can do it. Like most attacks will, get damage on the board, but that is a turn you're kind of wasting, I guess. So it's, not necessarily amazing there. But then you also have like Greninja, which is really good. I think Weavile's a decent card and one that I'm really looking forward to messing around with and playing. I think it's pretty solid here. If you can get the damage on it, it's really good and that's doable. Oh, and there's this Spiritomb. The Spiritomb, I'm really excited for this card as well. You could pair these two together. It's a Darkness basic. It's colorless. Its attack does 10 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Will be hitting weakness on their active, which I guess is cool, but it doesn't really matter that much, to be honest, I don't think. But 10 spread is pretty good. Unless you're playing Shaman, then that is not good. But this is like 40 damage across the board. I think it's cool. I don't know how good this is, but I like this attack a lot. I think it's really fun. You just set up a Weavile if you wanted, Weavile EX, so that's a thing, but it's a cool card. Um, let's stream it. Oh, this is like a classic coin flip card that can poison. Yeah, that's kind of bad. Then we have Krogunk here, which does flip coin for each Pokemon you haven't played, 20 for each heads for 2 darkness. Then Toxicroak, which does 40 for each Pokemon you haven't played. Well, on a coin flip. So this is averaging like 80. It's not actually that much, but it's kind of fun. We got Darkrai, which does 16 sleep for 3 in the basic. It's not great. But then we have Darkrai EX. This card's really interesting. Oh, I guess this combos with the Weavile EX as well. So it says whenever you attach a Darkness energy from your energy zone to this Pokemon, you do 20 damage to your opponent's active. Um, there's no way of accelerating this. There's also the new like supporter. I don't remember what it might be, like Dawn or someone, which moves the energy around. This will not be doing. Oh wait, no, it will be. So you could use Dawn here, which moves energy from your bench Pokemon to your active. You go first. You start Sneasel, then you evolve into Weavile EX. You attach the energy to Darkrai EX on your bench. Then you ping their active, and then you move the energy to Weavile EX on the active, and then you can be like doing that. That seems kind of clunky, but that is the thing you can technically do and seems kind of cool. Darkrai EX is a really cool card to me. You could play it in like Wheezing. It's pretty mediocre to kind of bad attacker. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not particularly good. But with its ability, I think it's really cool, really solid, and you can kind of control damage in a way that you don't necessarily have. You kind of have with Greninja, but this is a basic Pokemon, so I think this card's pretty cool and has a solid attack as well. Then Skarmory does 50 with a tool attached for 1 metal on a basic. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, as I mentioned before, the like Rotom I thought was pretty good, and this is kind of similar to that. So I think this is decent. It's not amazing, but it's actually pretty good, right? It's a good card. We kill Lightning as always, of course. Then we got Registeel. Okay, that's here apparently. Shield on. We got Bashadon. If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks on a coin flip, you take 100 less, which is probably like you're not really taking much damage at all. I mean, it's okay, and I can flip it's kind of insane. It's pretty tanky even without that, so this card's actually quite good. I think this Bastion's really cool. It is a stage 2 fossil, which is kind of sketchy, but definitely an interesting looking card, and you can accelerate to it with Dialga EX. Even the fossil you can accelerate to with Dialga EX, despite being colorless. Wormadam is, a classic coin flip attacker. Bronzor takes 20 less next turn. So that's like okay, but probably not really tanky enough. Then we have Dialga EX accelerating metal energy to anything, but yeah, we talked about this. It's good. I definitely think Dialga EX is a good card. Heatran is, I guess, the strongest regular metal attacker. I mean, Registeel's like okay, but Heatran here, 120 HP, does 20 to itself with his attack though, so keep that in mind for its HP. But then you do 110 for 3 metal. That is definitely a pretty good attack here. Not amazing though, but with Dialga EX it might be okay, but it might not be amazing. We have Garchomp here, 140 HP stage 2 with no weakness, of course. Does 100 for water fighting, which isn't very good. Does have one retreat. You can boost this all the way to 150 with Cynthia, which is decent. I like the numbers on this card more than the Togekiss. Um, and then you have this ability, which is super good. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability, which is like fine. And then once your turn, you may draw a card. So you discard one, draw one. It's kind of like discard one, draw two that we see in standard, but deck sizes are smaller, so you don't really need two cards. I mean, so obviously discard one, draw two would be better, but still, this is really good. Um, yeah, I think this card, I think it's decent. It's the first draw engine we've had in the game, I think. Yeah, Garchomp seems kind of cool. If you get hit by a late game disruptive card, which is possible, we'll take a look at, but there's red card as well. This is kind of good for getting your hand, getting cards into your hand that you need. It is a stage 2 though, so it's kind of weird. Like, oh, if it's set up, I'm kind of already set up, right? But Garchomp is definitely an interesting looking card. Then we have Lickitung EX, which does, oh, that's not particularly good. It's like a cord flip attack. Stage 1, expensive. It's actually kind of like Gyarados EX, which is like kind of weird, but it's not that good. Then we have Porygon Z. This card's like really crazy. Buggy Beam for 3 colors. So you do crazy isn't like weird, not like broken good. But 80 for 3 colors. Then change the type of the next energy that will be generated from your opponents to one of the following at random. Oh, this is at random as well. That's like super weird. Most likely it will not be the type that they need. This is all the energy types, by the way, if you didn't know. There's 10 types of Pokemon, but 2 of those are Colorless and Dragon. So, yeah, you got Grass, Fire, Water, Lightning, Psychic, Fighting, Darkness, Metal, and most decks can't really work with most of those types, but some decks can. Like Mewtwo EX, they can just use the Colorless. So, um, I said most decks can. I don't know. I bet there are a decent amount of decks that can. Certainly just one random slot in there is okay. This card's like really funny. I think it's pretty bad, but it's really cool. And then we have Starlers can discard tools, which I don't think is that good, but it's a thing. Straptor kind of stops treating, kind of like Arbok. It's pretty similar there. Arbok's like okay. And then we got actually this Bidoof, which is kind of crazy for 2 colors and a basic. Have your opponent's active Pokemon's HP rounded down. So I guess this would knock out a 10 HP Pokemon. This is like kind of insane against like Gyarados EX. It's just so much damage. But also like at the end of the day, how like good is that? Like, are you actually gonna be able to win from that? I don't know, but it's a really interesting, really cool card, and I think it's good. Lopunny here does 20 and 20 for 1 colorless on stage 1, which is okay, not amazing. Bibarel 60 for 2 as well, so you could evolve into that with Bidoof. Um, Perugly says 40 for or 60 for 3 colorless, but your opponent reveals their hand, choose a card you find there, and shuffle it into their deck. So that's disruptive, kind of okay there. Fan Rotom on a coin flip, your opponent's you put put your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand. That definitely is like theoretically could just like win you the game, but it's probably not very good that often. Then we got Regigigas. This one has really awkward wording for 4 colors. So you do 50. It does more damage equal to the damage it has. It's more of each damage count on this Pokemon essentially, but there isn't damage count, so the wording is awkward. It's okay. Can definitely do pretty solid damage, but isn't a card that is absolutely insane either. Is like tanky, but it is kind of awkward. I don't think it's super good. We got the fossils. We got Pokemon communication. This is a really cool item. Choose a Pokemon from your hand. Switch it with a random Pokemon in your deck. Oh, so you choose the Pokemon in your hand. Yeah, it's like you can get any type of Pokemon or any stage, any type. So pretty cool there. I think it's a really good card. You should play this in a lot of decks, and I love Pokemon communication and the regular TCG. It's back. It's a little different, but it's cool. Then we got Giant Cape. Getting 20 more HP on any Pokemon is kind of insane. Blue is a supporter that is good. It's okay. It's not that good, but it's playable. This is I think just like kind of better than Blue. So yeah, Giant Cape seems really cool. Rocky Helmet says if you're hidden 2, you do 20 and return to your opponent's active. This is good. Dredigan is good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. This is that. So Rocky Helmet, Giant Cape seem really good as tools. And some cards need tools to work. Some cards can tools can get countered though as well. Then you got Lumberry. At the end of each turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is affected by a special condition, it recovers from all of them, and then you discard it. I think this is like super niche. I guess it's kind of good in the times when it's nice, but it's very niche here. And yeah, I guess it will stop like the special condition, I believe, like burn before it happens as well. We've got Cyrus. Switching one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage to the active. It's Gust. It's like actual Gust. We don't really have this outside of Victory Bell, which is really niche and really awkward. I think Cyrus is kind of insane, to be honest. Like, it's not broken, but I think it's a card that'll be in lots of decks. Obviously, it's kind of like Boss's Orders, which I guess makes sense because it's the second set. The boss was also in the second set, so cool to see. Then we got Team Galactic Grunt. Put one random Glameow, Snunky, or Krogun from your deck into your hand. Okay, oh, well, this is from your deck. I thought it was in play. So this is good, I guess. Um, Stunky, Krogunk. Oh, those are the basics. Um, yeah, that seems like kind of bad. I mean, it's like okay, I guess you'd rather have them than not have them, but they're not very good. It's kind of cool for setting up, but um, like the attackers aren't very good, are they? Like they're okay. I think this guy's unfortunately kind of bad. There's something going on with the Krogunk, which you could do Skuntank with Toxicroak, I guess. Wait, which are the ones again? Yeah, it's just the basics. So it's kind of weird, but it's okay. It's pretty niche though. And then you got Cynthia, your Garchomp, and Togekiss do 50 more. We talked about that. We talked about Voltor as well, starting to Electivire or Luxray, cool card. Dawn I mentioned, but move energy from your bench to one of your active, one of your bench to your active. Pretty cool here. How useful is it? I don't know. You kind of want to combo this with like Leaf, which you can't do. You could do it with X speed, but it's kind of interesting. Not amazing. It's okay. You got Mars, the supporter. It says your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a card for each of the remaining points needed to win. So it's like reset stamp, which is like banned. But yeah, this card seems pretty good. It's better than red card. Obviously, it's a supporter though. Like power wise, it's better. I think this card's pretty good. Shuffling your opponent to one late is kind of insane. So I think Mars is actually really good. Not like broken, but I think it's good and a card that you will see a bunch. Anyways, comment down below what you think of these cards. I'm really excited for this new set and to get my hands on it and play with it. But I hope you are too. I hope you enjoy. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.